and today we're going to talk about drawing using a grid. So this is my portrait, and I'm doing just my eyes today, and so this is a gridded photograph. The application that I'm using, the app, is called Grid, G-R-I-D, and then it has a dot after it. And now what I need to do is I need to grid off a sheet of paper. And I've already gridded this one, but I want to show you that I like to use this type of T-square because this is 1 inch size. So what I did to make this grid is you just start at the edge of your paper like that. You want to make sure that it's resting on the page. And then you simply make sure it's lined up, and then you simply hold it down firmly and you draw a line. So you've got your first line. And then since this is 1 inch square, I'll be making, this is 1 inch wide, I'll be making a 1 inch square grid. So you go all the way across your paper this way. There you go. And so this is the one that I've already finished. And so now what I want to do is I want to number this grid. So I'm going to number it starting with this space right here, and I'm going to use this top row and this side row to do so. So I'm going to do 0, 1, 2. I think I'm going to start right here just so you can kind of see the process. And this space would be called 1, 1. So that's why you want to number it. It's so that no matter where I am on this gridded photograph, I can find my way back again. Or I can check it and see if I've missed anything. And I want to concentrate when I'm doing this just on one square at a time. That's really important, to just concentrate. The picture may be overwhelming when you look at it as a whole, but if you break it down to one square at a time and just treat each one of these squares like it's a picture within itself, then it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to start, and so here I am at 1, 1, which is right here. And all I want to draw right now is what's in this little square right here, and I'm going to put it here. And as I look at this space, I see that if I'm only looking at this little space right here, then I notice that it's darker up here, and it is about, if I divide this space, this is about maybe 1/3 of the way up this square right there. And so I'm going to go up 1/3 right here, and I'm going to put a little mark. And then I'm going to go over here and look, it's a bit smaller than that, and I'm going to put a little mark there, just a little dot. Now I'm going to draw this shape right there. I'm drawing that shape. And now as I look at it, I notice that this part up here is dark, is a shade darker. It's probably, I'd say, maybe even a dark medium shade. So I'm going to shade this in. And I want my lines, as we talked about in the shading video, I want my lines to go the direction of the object. And in this case, it's textured slightly, even though the photograph I'm using is not very crisp. So I'm going to just shade in what's in this one square. And I'm looking at the nuances of what's in that shading. I want to capture, like if it gets darker in places, I see there's a little speck of dark right there. I'm going to go back in, add a little bit more dark. And then this down in here, actually I'm going to come down a little bit more, I see. Adjusting it, there's a little bit of dark right in there, just a little shade, medium shade. And then the rest of this is going to be shaded in. I want to shade in the whole thing. Now, some people like to teach this where you just do the lines and then you go back in on the shading, whatever works for you. And then it gets slightly lighter in here. See that? So I'm going to come on down, and the direction of the lines seem to kind of go about right here. And if you ever get kind of lost in it, it sometimes helps to look at the negative space. I made this little index card, and I cut this square, put this over a light box, cut this square exactly the same size as the grid on the photograph. So then I can block out everything and just do what's in that grid. Let me move over to do part of my eye. What I think I'd like to do is to move down to 2, 3. So here's 2 and 3. And what I want to do is draw what's just right there in that square. So I'm going to I'm going to move this down where you can see it better while I'm drawing it. This is my 2, 3, and I'm going to double check it. 2, 3. So it's in the second row, and it should be right here. So what I want to do is just draw what's in this little bitty square right there, and I'm going to pretend that it's just a painting in itself. And so what I see is I see a kind of a half oval, and it starts about 1/4 of the way down the square. So I'm going to mark that with a little dot, put my markers there. And then I see it's going to curve around, and then it's going to end about 1/4 of this one. So I'm going to just draw that curve. It's kind of a droopy curve. And then it ends right there. Now, you might correct me here, because it looks like that I have to cover up more space, because this relative size of this little negative space here, it looks larger than the relative size here. So I'm going to move this line over a little bit.